to have you.
Thank you.
Hope you're having a good morning.
Of course, yeah.
All right, thank you so much. We'll get to embrace that in the next few minutes.
Pleasure.
All right, so?
My name is Abok Elisha, a political analyst and a communication strategist. I'm happy to be here today. It's my pleasure.
Abok, even as we start the conversation, we are marking today the International Truth. What is your take on the truth so far as the country is concerned?
I think we can say it is a half truth, half lies.
Indeed.
Yes. So we cannot just give it 100%. It is a half. Yes.
Indeed.
So
half
we will diverge as we go on.
We are not in 100%.
No, we are not.
Right.
Yes.
Sawa. Of course, in measuring the fact that we are, Abok is saying, and 50-50 design, and earlier on we had a report on do not trust Raila. What will be your take on that?
Oh, well, Sesmo, that's a good one. So, you know, normally for any country or for any government, yeah, for a government to have, I would say, proper governance, there is that aspect of, attaining the political stability, yeah, and that is always, the number one objective of any government once they get into power.
Indeed.
Yeah. So if you look at Article 10 of the Kenyan Constitution, that talks about national values and principles of governance, you cannot talk of a proper national or maybe a proper government when the aspects of inclusivity is not there, the aspect of national unity is not there, because at that point as a president, at the office of the president, the presidency itself is a face of a country. So you cannot just run a country and assume that things are okay or maybe well when there are other people who feels like they are not part of the government in place. Indeed. And that that aspect alone can become a bit challenging or maybe difficult to run, or rather to attain the objective of a country. Indeed. And just attaining some of the manifestos of a government in place. So that is why these are just rhetoric. These are political. I would call them the propaganda that someone will just wake up and say that person X and person Y is a trait or something. Look at the DRC Congo, for example, and of course Sudan. There is that political instability, and that is why you see even as a country attaining or even just achieving the economic stability of that country is a work that they are not even sure when it will be achieved. So for any country, there must be a political stability. There must be that harmony, and of course guided by the Constitution of Kenya through the Article 10 of the Constitution.
All right, I'd really love to hear why are we speaking even about trust issues amid political space, and of course we understanding that Raila, of course, is now having a greater relationship with President William Ruto. Of course, it's a political relationship. Do you think about the betrayal in the city as now Raila Amolo Odinga now comes in handy for the governance right in the country?
I would say this. There is nothing like betrayal in the city. Raila Odinga has not betrayed anybody. Why? Raila Odinga has offered himself many times to be the president of this nation. Somehow he has been rigged out. Now Raila Odinga chooses the country over an individual. So mine is just Raila Odinga rescued the country when it was sinking. So we need as Kenyans to celebrate Raila Odinga. You see, when Gen Zs were protesting, they were protesting at a time when I can say authoritatively, because Baba said it, President William Samoei Ruto was almost giving in to hand over power to the military. And when you see the countries that are under military leadership, it's worse. So being Raila Odinga is a victim of 1982 coup. He doesn't want us to go back there. And that is the reason as to why he stepped in. And now is helping President Uhuru Kenyatta to implement some things which he could not implement. And you can say, right now, things are working. Yes.
Abok, when the Gen Z were in the protest, they termed as Raila was present.
I want to tell you, see, majority of Gen Zs doesn't know who Raila Odinga is. They need to be taught, and they need to be given the history of Raila Odinga so that they understand. They get to know who is Raila Odinga. Because we cannot just say that, oh, I know Baba. You see, you don't know Baba. Baba has been there since, in fact, Mia was given birth when Baba was struggling for this country, until right now. And right now, see, Raila Odinga is in government. There is no active opposition. It is him who is even telling President Uhuru, this is wrong, this is wrong. The people who purport to be the opposition leaders are cowards.
Right.
Yes.
All right, Agogo, why are we speaking about the handshake amidst there is so much of current happenings in the country where some people are complaining about these, the Gen Zs are complaining about these, the government is not in full control. Why then do we have initiation of handshake at this particular space?
Well, the aspect of handshake, I would say, looking at because this time around it wasn't like an handshake. Just as I mentioned before, the aspect of inclusivity, like just having all heads together from all walks in this country. Looking at the stage of leader like His Excellency Raila Odinga is someone that when you look at numbers, sometimes you should not run away from the political realities. He's someone that still controls the numbers, right? And I remember even during the Gen Z protests, there is a young lady who came out and said that, Baba, just stay away and let us handle this. Yeah. He decided to went silent, but then when he was silent, you remember that it's like everyone wanted to guide or maybe to provide way. At each we must have a leader, someone who leads, yeah, and this leader have to be supported, yeah. As you criticize, if it is a government, as you criticize the government policies, it should be constructive criticism. It should be objective criticism. It should not be just criticizing for the sake of criticizing and not providing solutions. That's where we go wrong, right? So you find that for many a times we've witnessed this. After elections, we know how the election. I know maybe at some point we will also delve into reconstituting of IBC, and that's where things get it wrong. So we go to an election and someone feel like him or her, like he didn't win this election. So what happens? They're like, after this, we can find a way of coming together for the interest of the country. Because at some point, were it not that maybe during Gen Z, which some of us as youth, we were also at the forefront. But you see, at the end of the day, the interest of the country comes first. Kenya comes first. We only have one country. So at the point that maybe now we go and then now ban the country, it will take us ages. We've seen the countries like Rwanda and Burundi.
Indeed.
Yeah, the political instability and the wars in the streets, and of course having the military in the streets and everything. So as we look at it from that angle and become sober, of course, and just objectively in everything that we do, it will be that is when now we'll realize that indeed as a country we need someone who has that national face. And in this case as Kenya, I would say that as young leaders in this political space, we are lucky to have someone like His Excellency Odinga. And you can confirm this during Uhuru's time, during Kibaki's, and of course during His Excellency President Ruto. Now we had a PS and of course the reconstitution that happened.
Of course.
I would say that at the end of the day, not all of us can be appointed in those positions. We must have one youth, say even if it's for my friend Abok, or maybe just another youth. But then just have to embrace that. A friend youth who is from Kilifi, Fikrini Jacob, a young man who is, I think, less than 35 years, was appointed as a PS for youths. So it is just a responsibility and as a people that we need to understand that Kenya is a sovereign state, Kenya is a democratic state, and as we make this, of course, we are guarded by our constitution. as we agitate in the streets, as we try to, to press the government, which is right, and even, there is no sane government who cannot, they love that if you criticize, but if you criticize objectively and constructively, so that is the way that we can help the government.
Indeed, as the youths, you've always been criticizing the government that is doing wrong, and this one is not the appropriate way to go with it. And Abok and Agogo, of course, you are so much supporting Raila Odinga into that particular space. But what if we say that now this position, this is wrong. This is the position now where the country now says that indeed now you're wrong. I asked earlier on about the betrayal. I asked about the trust process. But allow us now to delve into something different. Of course, we've been having Uhuru Kenyatta coming in handy and saying that I haven't been having a cool moment in my retirement because I'm still engaged. Then he comes forth and says that now you Kenyans, or that is rather William Ruto, should listen to the voices of the Mwananchi. What will be your opinion on that? And because of course he is the retired president and taking in shape or getting his voice right to the heart of the people. Do you think that indeed that, as we speak, the country needs prayers?
I don't know, maybe.
Let me just explain to you something. President Uhuru Kenyatta was there. He was the head of state.
Indeed.
In fact, it is almost 2 years down the line when he handed over the power.
Indeed.
All these activities were happening in his regime. And his regime was the worst regime because in his regime we witnessed the assassinations, the abductions that were there.
Which of course we're witnessing now.
And that's the reason as to why I'm telling you that Baba getting into this government is just there to offer his advisory to the government. And President William Ruto has the power to take whatever he wants to take because he's the man in the executive to rule the country. So I would say President Uhuru Kenyatta has that power to speak.
Indeed.
Because when you read our constitution, Article 1 is very clear that the power belongs to the people.
Indeed.
And that power is not limited to an individual. It is for every one of us.
Of course.
So when he gives out his opinion, we also listen and we take what is okay. And I want to tell you, it's a couple of time you will see things rolling in our country because I know Baba. I know he's capable of advising the country decisively. And again, you can attest to it. It is around, I think we have done around 3 months, 4 months without the price of petrol shooting up. We have maintained it. We are looking for the ways to reduce it. You see, the moment the petroleum reduces, the living standard will go down because the prices of things will come down. So I want to tell President Kenyatta, if you want to come back to VI, which I don't know which constitution will allow that, let him declare. Then we will weigh between Uhuru Kenyatta and President President William Samoei Ruto, whom do we vote for? But I know there is no law that allow if you have retired, then you need to come back. And I want to tell you, if you see former presidents making a lot of noise, it means they have not been paid their money. After they have been given their pension, they will just relax, they will go back. That is just a noise for them to get their packs.
Don't you think it's the same thing that is happening to Raila Odinga that now is getting the space to the government? That is why he wants to coordinate with the government to align things?
Not really. You see, after 2013, people told us, oh, Baba should retire with Kibaki. Oh, Baba should do this. But you see, Baba has been consistent in helping these governments. Even Uhuru Kenyatta, when things were tough on him, Baba came up and helped him. The same way Baba helped Uhuru Kenyatta is the same way Baba is now helping William Samoei Ruto. It means Baba is a statesman. He loves our country more than any other person. Because Uhuru Kenyatta would have stepped, because I know Uhuru Kenyatta has a direct phone call to William Samoei Ruto.
All right.
Then he should talk to Uhuru Kenyatta. I mean, President Uhuru Kenyatta should talk to President William Samoei Ruto direct. not coming to public and telling us, oh, Uhuru Kenyatta, President William Ruto should listen to the people. He should call him and advise him that President William Samoei Ruto, why don't you listen to our common mwananchi on this and this and this? Because you cannot listen to a common mwananchi who wants to overthrow you through the dark forces. You see, that one, even if I'm the president today, I cannot allow it. So let former President Uhuru Kenyatta, we respect him, let him take his phone, call President William Samoei Ruto, advise him. Or he can book for an appointment, then they have a seat. The way we are here today, they can discuss more.
If Raila Amolo Odinga, you wanted to add something, but before that, if Raila Amolo Odinga never won the AUC chairmanship, do you think that now this handshake would have come to a reality?
Well, Sesmo, if you allow me to react to, because the first question that you raised, you asked my colleague panelist, Mr. Abok. I think there is this notion that people say. I think me personally, I would say that I'm not. I would say I'm not a Raila. I say like kind of worship or maybe just following, but then I would say that what I love in Baba, and of course as a leader, is the political political ideologies of His Excellency Odinga, and this is something that you cannot coerce someone to do that, or rather maybe to follow a specific leader, just like any other globally, looking at Martin Luther King and of course the likes of Mandela. So everyone has of course a right, and everyone has you have to feel like this is the person that I follow in terms of this and that. Indeed. You have to mention, but then where he goes wrong, you can also do what? Correct. And is human. Yeah. I remember during Gen Z April. Me personally, I was disappointed. I would say that I was disappointed by Baba's move. I would say for His Excellency Raila's move to do what, he went to KICC and he was like, let's embrace what? Dialogue. And we were like, why dialogue? You see, because you see, as youth, we think radically, and at sometimes maybe you are like, this is the way. It is either my way or maybe the highway. But then as a statesman, and being that someone who's been there before, so at times it takes you time, and even it happens even at family level. Maybe you can. A parent can tell you something and you're like, why, Dad, or maybe Mom, why are you telling me this? But then maybe from his wisdom aspect, there is something he has seen. So that is something that I think should come out so well, so that it is well understood that you'll follow someone's ideologies, but not the person, but then his or her ideologies, which can be corrected at some point when you feel like this is not how it should be.
And so the question, of course, now in the AUC chairmanship, if Raila Amolo Odinga never won this particular space, do you think that at this particular point in time we will be speaking about Raila Amolo Odinga and the handshake with President William Ruto?
Yes, well, we would be. Remember, for someone like, because I'd mentioned that for his stature, his political, is someone that have grown politically. Political stability, political, flexibility that he has, and the numbers that he controls. It is something that we couldn't have, wished away. It could have taken some time before like people forget about it. And remember, for AUC, it is a 2 year. Is it 2 years or 3 years? 3 years. When is the next election? 2027. So you see, and also for politics, someone say that a day is a long time in politics, or maybe just hours. So and a politician, everyone is a politician.
Don't you think he wanted a leaning point?
Yes, he wanted
a leaning point, exactly, because of the loss.
Because of the laws, yeah. Right. So it's something that you can't say that maybe after maybe AUC we could have wished it away. No. There could be that aspect of still influencing, and that is the political reality.
You see, who's correcting the government?
Currently, who is correcting the government? We have the government in place. His Excellency Odinga is just there to offer as I would say as a stakeholder.
Right.
Yeah.
Sawa. Then, of course, for flexibility, Abok, we are having discussion on reorganizing the executive, and which, of course, it's coming in handy to stabilize the government. What would be your take on the current appointment? Someone will say that this is a broad-based appointment.
No, not really. You see, when Gen Z went to the street, they were demanding that they have not been included in this government, right? So when you look at the appointment that president made recently, and you will concur that president has heeded to their pressure.
Indeed.
Because Oluga, who was appointed the PS, is not that an old man, he's a young man.
Of course.
Fikiri from Kilifi is also a youth. So when you check that formation, it will really tell you that President William Ruto has listened to the youths, and he has appointed their fellow youths. You see, the government, we need a leaner government. And that leaner government, we cannot just say that every youth must serve in the cabinet. And we cannot say that every youth must serve in the PSS cabinet and everywhere. As long as we can get few youths there who can champion for our ideas, and they can present good memorandum to the president and to the executive that these are what youths are in need of, then we can appreciate. Because what we want from this government as youths is that we want a government that makes it easy for youths who want to venture into business, can do it freely. And the only thing that we want President William Samoei Ruto to do is to reduce this burden, the taxes. You see, the taxes are the thorny thing to youths. Because, for example, today you can go and register a company. You see, you are needed a lot of things to pay. So these are the things that we want President to recheck and do them perfectly. Then we have no business to complain about President.
And you mentioned about the partyless and leaderless thing.
I want to tell you something. In this country, there is nothing like partyless. There is nothing like leaderless. You cannot mobilize yourself from your house and go do something. There has to be, you see, for you to have an idea, you will have an idea as an individual. Then that idea will share with my fellow comrade here, Agogo. When I tell him, oh, I was sitting somewhere and I was having this idea, then we will go out and try to implement this idea. And I want to tell you, those people who are claiming that they are partyless, they are leaderless, you can just see that today they have realigned themselves with these political parties. Me, I don't want to lie to Kenyans. I don't want to lie to the world. I belong to a political party, and that through that political party, I can participate in championing for what is best for our country through the elected leaders. And something that our country, our people are getting it wrong. People only think that Raila Odinga was born to be an opposition leader, which is wrong. You see, we have members of parliament who should check the wrong activities in the government.
Indeed.
Because a member of parliament only has three roles. That is oversight, representation, and checking the wrongdoings of the government.
Right.
And that's the reason as to why we have PAC. You see, when government agents get involved into corruptions, they will be called to parliament. There will be questions.
Of course.
Yes. So we have also
Agogo,
activities.
just hold it there, and when you come back after this short break, we'll now get a discussion. If the government is listening to the people's opinion, to the people's voice, then why are we still speaking about the hard economic times? Indeed, it's a crisis right now because everyone is embracing this, and of course, the mamambogas you speak, the Buddha Buddha riders are still complaining about the same thing. As we come back to the next session, we'll get to understand clearly, even as we dive into the state of the nation, how can this be addressed, and we get a correction out of it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, of course, this is the state of the nation. I'm having Sir Abok and Agogo right here are helping us to understand clearly what is the perfect state of this particular nation. This is the Morning Drift. Don't go too far. taarifa zinapochipuka na kutufikia papa hapa kwenye makao makuu ya chumba cha habari cha runinga ya Lookup, kwenye taifa, kwenye serikali, kwenye bunge, tunajitosa hadi kwenye sauti ya wenyeji ili kupata tu maoni ya wenyeji kuhusu masuala haya yanayochipuka.
Maana hii kitu inaenda kuumiza Mkenya kwa tax.
Hakuna kitu tunafurahia. Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Sisi tunaumia, si ati tunaumia ile ya kiukweli. Juu maisha ni ngumu.
Na bila shaka tunapata maoni yao ili sauti yao ipate kusikika. Na watasema hili, waseme lile, watasema hiki na waseme kile, almuradi sauti yao ipate taa.
Mambo ya mafuta tena imekuwa ni changamoto zaidi kwa kila mtu, kwa bodaboda.
Uchumi ikikuwa stable, tunaamini mambo itakuwa sawa sawa.
Kwanza alikuwa na ria wasa wa boda, mama mboga nini. Hao sasa ndio wamefinywa zaidi mazuri.
Mpenzi mtazamaji, hii ni bunge la wenyeji.
Feeling like unwinding and calming your nerves down after a long week? I'm Nakala. Join me on the Nakala Report this coming Friday and every Friday at 8 p.m. only on Lookup TV. At Nakala Report, we turn the insanity into sanity and sanity into insanity.
Thank you so much for joining us. Now, this is the morning drift, of course, Lookup Television. Remember, the conversation is the state of the nation. Earlier on, we'd embraced the fact now that the government is trying much as possible to align itself. But above all, earlier on, Abok had mentioned that indeed the government is speaking or listening to the country's voice, but we still have a problem with the economy. And of course, we are still struggling. Everyone is complaining about tough economic times. And of course, to get money is becoming a difficulty. Even as we raise that concern, what will be your opinion on the same? Because yes, they've been they're speaking to the country, but the country is still complaining.
Well, I would say that it is true that the government is listening. I don't know if the Gen Z approach was the wake-up call or just the inclusivity that we are now witnessing. At some point, when we, the current CS for Treasury, National Treasury and Economic Planning, CS John Buddy. We've seen him many a times going to the public. Recently was at KICC, and then at some point also we saw him just going to Jivanji Gardens. That alone can tell you that the aspect of public participation is really trying to incorporate that aspect of public participation and just listen to the viewers of the common man. At times it is always hard. It can be a challenge as a leader when you sit at the desktop and expect things to happen. We remember during Professor Magoha's reign as the CS for Education, Professor Magoha was one leader who, Magoha and of course Dr. Matiang'i, you just wake up and find him at even if it is Kibra, in Toi, those informal, or even if it is Turkana, just finding him at the school. So that was a good sign. And as a leader, I also love the path that Waziri has taken, just involving and engaging with the youths, engaging with the boda riders, and engaging with the mama mboga to get to know the reality at the ground. So I would say that it is still something that a lot of work is still needed, and for something to pick, our economy was sinking, and I would say that we are not yet there. But then
will we be there?
looking at the strategies in place, and also recently when I was listening to Waziri, I would say that with the much work that is in place, I'm very positive that we will be there.
All right.
Yeah.
Abok, do you think that the same will be there, Nembo, will be affected by Tumbo Lisiloshiba, as many of them would really want to get to the spaces just because of their selfish interest?
I just want to make it clear that for us to gauge the broad-based government in terms of economy, let's wait until they give us their budget, because that will be the first budget ever that will come with the new experts that we donated to Kenya Kwanza regime. So that budget will actually lead us to better economy or worse economy, because currently we are still doing with the budget that made agencies to go to the street. Yes, so we are waiting for the budget, which I know by next month we will start seeing some senses, because there is what we call public participation, and public participation is an ongoing process concerning the coming budget. And what we have requested, if you have engaged in different platforms, we are telling them to reduce the taxes. And I'm seeing there is a positive sign from the government side that some taxes they will reduce. Like the most important one that we are requesting them is this affordable housing, which we are telling them, when you go to other countries, they are doing serious development without even taxing Kenyans. Now we are telling them that the housing, the affordable housing tax should be reduced to 1%. In fact, sometimes back, even Baba alluded to it, that this our affordable housing can be reduced. And I know his voice will be heard, because Baba is a person who is pro-people, is a person who listens to the common mwananchi. And in fact, if you can go back and check his clips, Baba normally say that you elect a member of parliament, akiwa thin, then in a few days, then the guy will be like Meshiba. So we are requesting the government. I know some are listening, some are watching. We are telling them that they need to recheck the tax burden that Kenyans are crying off. But so far so good, things are working, because I want to tell you, nobody will come from the government side and bring you food in your table if you're not going out to look for it. You must work hard also as a Kenyan and look for that space. And that's the reason as why I told you that the only thing as youths we should request the government is to recheck these taxes. And again, we cannot also run a country without taxes. And our motto, it says, kulipa ushuru ni kujitegemea. We need to do our development with our own money. And where will that money come from? It has to come from the taxes. And what I will urge the government is that they need not to overburden few with the taxes. They need to broaden the tax base. If you broaden the tax base, then we will collect more. That's my view.
All right.
Yes.
Even as your view gets the center stage right here at the Morning Drift, let's embrace now the conversation on health, about the Taifa Care rollout, and of course we are having the conversation on social health fund, of course, that is SHA, that is taking space right in the country. In the recent past, there are so many complaints that you go to the hospital and the SHA is not working. You try as much as possible, your people die, then you're told about the SHA process. What do you think as far as the Kenya's voice is concerned? They're waiting until you get affected to that or with that, then now you start raising a voice. What will be your take on the SHA process?
Well, on the SHA process, looking at the SHA, just as any other policy that, document that can be rolled out, of course, comparing SHA with the education, of course, health and education run so, concurrently. There was, I would say that that is one area that the government really need to, to improve on, because you realize that we have phases of of coming up, or maybe phases of policy formulation. So at onset, at the openings phases, and then now at the implementation stage. So for sure, the implementation strategy really needs to be, looked into. We are already in it, and can't reverse it. So it's just a matter of who are these people. If the government have to involve the stakeholders in the SHA, yeah, for the rollout of the SHA, or rather in the implementation of the SHA at the county level, at the sub-county level, from national to the lower levels, yeah. So that is one area that as a ministry they need to really work on so closely to ensure that even capacity building, they need to capacity build some of these people, because you see at some point you cannot just come and implement something when the strategy is not well aligned. So I would say that SHA being a good thing as it is, the implementation strategy really needs to be relooked and just revised, and of course involve these key players that are supposed to give their views. Recently I was listening last week, I think I was listening to KMPDU through their Secretary General, Dr. David Taylor, and they're also giving ultimatum because of the same. And you see that's not a good sign, yeah. So as a government, I know they are listening. They really need to listen to all these stakeholders, and just ensure that they align everything. But then they should not assume that everything is well. But then someone said that vitu kwa ground ni tofauti, ni different, yeah. So that is the approach that they need to take, and just ensure that we have this SHA thing. If it's a technology that is not working, what do they need to look? Who do they need to bring on board so that they can fix some of these gaps that are making the SHA to be implemented? Yeah.
We're just 3 months after the year 2025 began, and the same problem is still a menace right in the country. For how long will we have an alignment in the health problems and the health crisis we've been embracing right in the country? Even as you answer that questions, Kenyans have been urged to disregard politicians attempting to hinder the rollout of Taifa Care and continue with the registration process. Kirinyaga Governor Uhuru said the particular individuals criticizing the program have their covers fully paid for. Now listen this. Do not listen to politicians. They are going to mislead you. They have their own covers yet. They are telling you not to register. The same problem happened earlier on with the SHA processes and advising people to really embrace this rather than you should have revisited the NHIF thing rather than taking control to SHA. What would be your take on that? Even as we shape the conversation, there is the understanding of the state of the nation with the politicians and the government, and also there's an understanding of the Kenya's mind or Mwananchi's mind towards the processes that are taking shape in the country. What would we take on these SHA processes and the government misleading particulars?
I would say this. SHA was a good project. But the problem, the government, that they rush into implementing it. In fact, they got it wrong from the feasibility stage. They could have done better things. It is a good thing if we get the right people to implement it. Why do we say this? You see, Pielo Lumumba once said, and I quote, that the people with the idea has no jobs, but the people without ideas has jobs. Why? I understand that from the government perspective, President William Ruto contracted people to do this plan and in the implementation. You will get these people will contract you from outside here to draft a strategy on SHA. And now you give them, because you don't have a job, it is now them to go and implement and they don't understand anything in it. So it is a good project, but in the bad hands. Why? First, we could have sit down, check the problems that we had with the NHIF before rushing into it. Even if you were going to implement it, we could have done a piloting. But this was not done. They advised President, let's just rush into implementing it without checking the modalities. Now the modalities is the thing that is now affecting us. We need to go back, recheck into it, and do more things inside it. And the truth of the matter is, SHA into some hospitals, it is not working. You get it? Our people are suffering. So the government needed to rush into implementing it perfectly, because people are donating. People are contributing towards this kitty. We are not denying to contribute. But what we are asking it should be given to the right people to implement it. Yes. The implementation is the problem. Yes.
Even as you speak about implementation, there's also the implementation of the competence-based curriculum, which now should take place in the few years to come. Are we still speaking about perfect implementation right here in the education system?
Yes, perfect. We can still speak about perfect implementation. I think when you talk of CBC, recently they were talking of doing away with mathematics. That mathematics should not be compulsory. Well, we all understand that we have different fronts. I would say different approaches that I think the government through the the KICD, that is Kenya Institute of Curriculum Development. They are trying to have we have three fronts. We have sports, we have arts, and we have STEM, that is science, technology, and yes, and of course science, technology, and of course I think aspect of education and the science, mathematics in it. So they are like maybe for STEM, maybe you need mathematics, which is compulsory because of the sciences bit, and then for arts and sports, we don't need the mathematics aspect, which I think that's a danger in waiting more so for the upcoming generation. You will all agree with me that when we were in college, or maybe in campus, we had common units. And one of the common units, we had life skill, we have communication skills, and we had mathematics. Yeah. So when a government wakes up today, and of course advising the head of state to do away with mathematics, that's a danger. We need some elements of mathematics, even if we have those who are taking STEM. If they're going in depth, like they are tackling mathematics deeply, then of course for sports and arts also they also need some basic aspect of mathematics. So for CBC, the same challenge with SHA. I remember during Professor Magoa's reign, there was aspect of working on infrastructure, the aspect of just capacity building the teachers, and you see for capacity building, it is something that it's ongoing, it doesn't end. Yeah. And we have counties, because we have different county dynamics. Out of the 47 counties, you cannot compare like Nairobi County and Turkana County, those diaspora counties. They have their own challenges. So the government needs to relook into that and review, and to work very closely with the key stakeholders in the education sector to advise them well. We have the unions, yeah. We have the parents association. We have like KICD, those curriculum developers. They should be brought on board to to review areas that need to be dropped, areas that need to be strengthened, so that we can have a proper education system that can help us in building the country, of course, through breeding professionals and proper workforce.
I'm also thinking about the proper ways to adjust to the betterment of the education system, and also I'm thinking about the fact that we've been having it for quite a long time. Then we had the initiation of the competence-based curriculum. Thereafter, the government might decide now to bring on board a new cabinet that will now bring another initiation of now CBC, because it has so many complications and many people are complaining about it. Let's introduce another one. How would that process go, since of course it's just a matter of creating an opinion and strategizing on that particular opinion, then shooting it out?
You see, CBC is also another problem. In fact, if I was the advisor to the president, I would go and tell him, President, when you are campaigning, you told us that the moment you be sworn in, you will do away with the CBC.
Indeed.
In fact, if I were President William Ruto today, I will scrap this CBC and take our kids back to the 844.
Indeed.
The 844 was a good system for our country and our children. Why? The 844 was deep. If So CBC is just a curriculum that was rushed because there were some few cartels who sat somewhere, draft it. They wanted to get rich quickly through publishing of new books. So I would urge the president to listen to Kenyans. CBC is not working. It's another crap that President William Ruto should scrap it and revert back to 844. Why? 844 is a clear roadmap. Though we know that majority who came out of 844 are still jobless.
Indeed.
And you see, even if today you engage that person, you have a one or two talks with him, you will get that this guy understands whatever he's doing.
Indeed.
You see, now they are proposing that mathematics be scrapped. How? Many of us were built up because you could go to school, kama hujafanya maths utachapwa ile yako yote. It was opening your mind. And now you are telling us that now maths will be optional. How? Let maths be there. The only thing that they need to scrap that thing is Kiswahili. How is Kiswahili benefiting us? Yes, in lugha ya taifa, but it is not helping us. So CBC, if I were the advisor to the president, I would insist, like in the morning, tell president, let us do away with this. Lunchtime, president, let's do away with this. And into the evening, I will tell him, let's do away with CBC. Let's revert back to 844.
Indeed.
844 was wide.
Don't you think Julius Ogamba, the CS, has done so to the president?
No, I cannot say because Julius Ogamba is just a politician. Julius Ogamba is just the person who was the deputy to former CS Mr. Machogu.
Indeed.
Now, he came at a time when things were tough in that seat. So he don't understand it perfectly. Maybe he's learning. We can't blame CS Ogamba. We can't blame him because this thing is not his idea. He's just there to implement. And I know if you can have him, you can have a talk with him, he will tell you that he doesn't understand that CBC.
Doesn't understand or know.
Yes, he doesn't understand it perfectly.
All right. Yes, Agogo?
Yes, something burning. Yeah, I think, well, together, I think based on what my fellow panelist, Comrade Abok, I'll just, just a thin difference in terms of how we perceive this, the CBC thing. Yeah, when I would say that for Waziri or maybe for a CS, what it is just wisdom. The president should just take it upon himself to engage, to listen to the to these key stakeholders. Yeah, because with the stakeholder they will not lie to you. They'll always tell you what is needed. Yeah, and that is why they need to, when reviewing the CBC, they need to really have an intense engagement with these key stakeholders. Yes, I've mentioned. Start with the teachers' union. He needs to have a session with them. He needs to have a session with the parents. We have parents association. He needs to have a session with them, and then of course then now bring all these heads together, and then from there, if it's maybe if you talk of Swahili and English, I think that's under literacy. Indeed. So that's always an option. Like you can either do English or Swahili. Indeed. Yeah. So from that point, because I doubt if at this point the president can do away with the CBC at where it is, because I'm told that I think in 2027 that is the last lot that will be sitting for their KCSE. So probably from 2028 we'll have a new lot who will be now having will now be sitting for the CBC
for the country.
Yes.
All right. Even as we end the conversation, of course, we just having less than 5 minutes to finalize all our touches. Now, we are having the discussion also on the IBC chairmanship, which now will take at least 30 days to have 33 probably to have a greater reflection on all this. We are left with a few years to the general elections. What will be your standing point as far as now this new chairmanship is concerned, and what is the future looking like for the country? I think you both will have to answer that. Then you tell us what is the state of the nation as we speak.
Well, for the IBC, I feel like there was no inclusivity. Yeah, because looking at the face or how the reconstitution was done, and of course now I think it's starting today. Yeah, so the the young ones, because as a Kenya we cannot assume the fact that youths are the majority.
Of course.
Yeah, the 70% stands at 70%.
All right.
So there is that aspect of involving them. You just need to involve them so that we can walk this this.
The one that will get that space should be a friend to the government.
Should be a friend. Not really. That's a notion. That's a notion.
Okay.
Yeah. So if that one can be done, and I think we are good to go. We all know that at the IBC that is where the problem starts and ends. So if you get it right at the IBC, we are good to go as a nation. If you get it wrong at the IBC, then of course we are good to go as a nation. And we are there to
probably we are good.
We are almost there.
All right.
I'd say
so what
that.
is the state of the nation?
So the state of the nation currently, of course, we have various activities running, and yesterday we were as patriots we had our national team playing football, and I'm just urging us young people to just be criticize objectively, criticize constructively, and just to avoid this being misquoted and such. But from where I sit, I have faith and trust that as we criticize objectively and constructively, we'll be able also to do what for the government to listen and implement.
All right.
Where they've gone wrong.
As you give us your final words, what is the state of the nation from where you sit?
Now, let me start with the IBC, then I conclude with that. You see, IBC is not about the chairmanship. We need to do away with the system.
Indeed.
It is the system that has the problem.
Of course.
And even if you bring a saint today there, without checking the systems, we will still get it wrong. And I will urge the president, let him try a youthful leader with that chairmanship this time round. Because recycling leaders, because when you see today, there is these three big names being mentioned, Nyachai, Medio. So let's do away with these people.
Okay.
Let's try somebody who is new, who has not been into the system.
All right, I hear you.
And I will advise him to appoint a youth.
Of course.
Because they have cried that, oh, President, you are bad. Let us try them with this seat.
Indeed.
And they be held accountable for it.
As you wind up, what is the state of the nation?
The state of the nation, previously it was at -2 on a number line. Right now we are at +6. That is the state of the nation today. And I would urge all youths, all Kenyans, let's come out and support the government, criticize where it is possible, and give your opinion. Then we be supportive because we have one country.
Okay.
And if that country burns, we'll also burn.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Agogo Mkareh. Thank you so much, Elisha Abok, for your lovely time and, of course, opinions right here in the morning drift. It's a pleasure. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have at least accomplished 1 hour of the excitement on this state of the nation. But if it matters to you, remember the conversation still continues across all social media platforms, www.lookuptv.co.ke, or rather Facebook, Lookup TV, or YouTube, Lookup Television. Cheza kama wewe. Of course, we have this conversation to get the country's voice. My name is Sasmo, of course, Moses Sakech, right here on Lookup TV. My director has been King Dantimax. See you next time. Of course, that is tomorrow as we check out on our health. Asanteni sana.
We value your feedback and welcome your complaints about our programming and operations. Feel free to get in touch with us through 0700 893 54